Fuck. I can't believe it. I don't even know why I bothered. Why did I decide to give this fucking movie a chance? Ooh, we got the keys. Not the cheese, the keys. Put the cheese down. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2. Because if you saw my review for the first film, you would know that I absolutely hated that movie. In fact, I hated that movie so much that I didn't even finish that movie. I still, to this day, don't know how that movie ends, and I don't care. But when I heard about this sequel, and I remember like the first day, people were reposting articles saying, look, it has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mind you, only 7 people at the time had reviewed it. Now it's like down to 50%, which even then is still too high for this bullshit. But I said, fuck it. If nothing else, if the movie really isn't better than the first film, at least I'll get a good rant out of this. And what do you know? That's what we have. This is a 2024 film that was directed by, I believe, the same director. I don't really care. Rise, Frake, Waterfield, whatever. It's a British film. So, look, kudos for the independentness of these movies, that these sick fucks had this idea to take childhood-like stories and fuck them up into something very sinister and evil. It's not even like I'm sitting here and I'm offended by it. I think it's creative. If you made the movies good, then I probably could talk this up more, defend this more, even the idea behind it. But because, in my opinion, it's made so half-assedly, so lazily, so just, let's throw shit at the wall and see if anybody likes this shit. Some people do. For the killers, you have Winnie the Pooh returning, Piglet returning, a character named Owl, who the entire time I was watching the movie and going, who the fuck is that guy? He has these giant feather wings, because he's an owl. He flies around. He talks an awful lot. He talks way more than anyone else, more than Winnie the Pooh, who barely talks. This guy is too much in the movie, and I thought it was me for a second, because I'm not the biggest Winnie the Pooh person. It's not like when I was a kid I watched a lot of Winnie the Pooh. I just kind of was aware of him and seen stuff of him, but I thought, well, maybe there's an owl character that I'm just not aware of. And I looked it up, and no, this owl is completely brand new, fresh created character specifically for this movie. Wow. So this is the one original idea that these people had, and I wasn't impressed. Sorry. Maybe other people were. And I think one of the biggest marketing plots of this film is that they brought in Tigger. Tigger was not in the original film, and there were some people wondering why. So here he is, and he looks like another dude in a rubber mask running around eating people or ripping arms off, and it's just like, okay, cool. Like, that's what people were so wanting, I guess, is Tigger killing people. So I instantly noticed that Christopher Robin's the character, he was recast, and I'm like watching it, and I'm seeing him sort of deal with the trauma of everything that's happened, and sort of trying to get through it, and he has all of this psychological issues going on, and I was just like, I wonder why they recasted him. And then at some point during the movie, you have characters watching a movie on TV of the original film, of the first movie. And it's like, there's this kid who's watching it, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't be watching this. It's too fucked up. And I'm like, wait, what? So the first movie is just a movie for this universe? Is it like Scream, where it the universe made a movie based off of the events? But if that's the case, why don't more people know about this or talk about it or even believe Christopher Robin's? Like, if there's a movie about this, is it just chalked up as a fictional movie and, oh, look at that, it just so happened to have also happened in real life? This movie is not smart enough to try to pull off some meta bullshit like that. I rolled my eyes after being confused for like 10 minutes and thought, fuck you guys, another reason to tell this movie to go fuck itself. This universe that they created. Actually, the second movie, because the first movie is the first one, but in this movie, the first movie is just a movie. But they have a thing called the Twisted Childhood universe, because we're still trying to do universes. I thought we gave up on that after the dark monster universe that failed tremendously. It's an idea that could work. It's an idea that could be cool, that could be interesting if the writing was better, if the acting was better, if the stories were better, if you got me to care about why we're doing this switch up. Otherwise, it just feels like a gimmick, just to be a gimmick, just to get people to talk about it, but not really because we're trying to make anything good. The kills, I swear there's over like 50 kills in this movie. And if you're just wanting a film that kills so many people to where you don't care about the people, characters just show up for like 2 seconds just to get their heads ripped off. I lost count over how many decapitations there were, or how many times Winnie the Pooh or Tigger or somebody just ripped heads off, and it just loses the effect after a while. You've seen that in the same movie over and over again, and it's not fucked up anymore. It's not even brutal and gross. And when I saw how much more the budget was compared to the first movie, I said, aha, that's the only reason why there's more kills. It's just because you can. Just because you have the money to do it. Not because you created better characters, because you have a compelling story to where when you do kill somebody, it means something. I'm not saying every horror movie has to be what I want it to be, that every horror movie has to be a little deeper or a little more interesting, but fucking hell, I am too old for some bullshit like this. This is like some 8-year-old wet dream of a horror movie because they had some terrible nightmare of Winnie the Pooh and thought, fuck, I'm going to make my nightmare into a movie. Doesn't have to make sense, doesn't have to be good. It sucks. I think this movie sucks. I guess because I finished this movie, yes, I saw the ending. And if I'm being honest, it felt like a more definitive ending, but I also don't know how the first movie ends. So maybe they're just going to undo it as well and make a third film, because why the fuck not? But I did finish the movie. So there is that difference compared to me having to stop watching the first film. Maybe I was in a better mood. I don't know. I do also want to mention, because in my review for the first movie, I talked about how dumb this all was. That it's Winnie the Pooh, right? We all know how Winnie the Pooh looks traditionally. He's a little bear. And like, especially if you're talking about whether it's the cartoon or even the original books, like they're small animals that just happen to talk. So why is it that in these movies, they're grown ass fucking adults clearly wearing masks? Like, it was just a huge juxtaposition that I was supposed to ignore in the first movie. This movie, they actually address it. This movie, they actually have a character that experimented on them and turned them into the giant monstrosities that they are, and also adds to the reason why they're cannibalistic and murderous. And so they explained it, but sometimes explaining it does not make shit better. It only makes it dumber. Because I have so many more questions of why this was done, what the point of this being done was, and how forced all of this bullshit was. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2. What do you think of it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.